So it's October, and apologies if it's way in October by the time I get this out. A faulty motherboard has turned my Ferrari of a computer into a slow donkey that falls down randomly, which is why my output hasn't been its norm lately. Seriously, this year has just been one thing after another. But at any rate, I'm going to answer questions that $5 or more supporters asked in September, and then see how many times Windows blue screens by the time I get it done. If you ever see me in the real world and notice patches of hair missing, you'll know why. And if you'd like to participate by asking a question this month for me to answer at the start of November, links are below. So just 2 questions on Subscribestar this month. The first from FunWithFacts, who asks, how do we stop students from using AI to cheat in school? Step 1. Understand that those AI detection tools do not work. They claim over 95% accuracy, but independent studies show them to be much closer to 50-50. Seriously, just flip a coin! And it can be very demoralizing for a student to work hard on an assignment only to be falsely accused of using AI. It is far more important, in my opinion, to avoid that than it is to catch the cheaters. This has been a problem long before AI. Any false accusation of cheating is demoralizing, and being demoralized is the worst thing that can happen to a student. That should be avoided at all costs. It's sort of like a Blackstone's ratio for the classroom. Better for 10 cheaters to get away with it than 1 student to be falsely accused. The problem is, so many teachers have an authoritarian streak where they get some kind of rush by exposing cheaters and they lose sight of what's really important. And AI cheating is just grist for their mill. So how do you stop it? First, accept the fact that you can't stop all of it. But there are ways of making it not worth it. First of all, don't make it about question-answer problems. Ask for more personal reflections, which AI isn't good at personalizing. Focus on the process, not the product. Have them show their drafts, revisions, and reasoning steps. Show the evolution from outline to finished paper. Have the students participate in more oral assignments, not just reading their report, but discussing, taking questions and answers, using the other students for peer review, and so on. In other words, make it all about the process of thinking, not merely the process of getting a result. And the thing of it is, as a teacher, this is what you should have been doing all along. Yes, what this is real teaching, not just the mindless indoctrination schools have been for far too long. Another thing you can do is actually assign students work using AI. There are ethical ways of using AI as a tool, and as a tool, AI has its strengths and weaknesses, its biases and mistakes. Have them incorporate AI into the process and understand the tool itself. Also, and this is something else that was the case long before AI, we need to rethink what cheating means. Cheating is merely a more efficient way to get a result. Essentially, what the student is doing is outsourcing part of the work to the AI. Outsourcing is an immensely useful skill in the real world. No one should be ashamed for doing it properly. Just emphasize that it should be done as assistance, not as replacement. Don't demean yourself as a student by placing the AI above you, doing the work for you. Use the AI to lift yourself up to heights you couldn't reach otherwise. In other words, don't stop students from using AI. Understand it and evolve faster than the AI does, and you'll be able to use AI as a tool to help your students think and grow. We went through this before with computers and the internet. We should know how to approach it by now. And Dickin Myanus asks, if you had a self-driving car, would you keep it for yourself to avoid additional wear and tear? Or would you have it participate in a taxi fleet for additional income, knowing that all kinds of nasty people could ride in it and have to deal with awful smells and sometimes intentional vandalism? Yes, very loaded question. Oh, not loaded at all. It's a very good question, and I've actually thought about this quite a bit. There would be a lot of advantages if you could make enough money to offset the monthly car payments. People are already leasing cars to be Uber or Lyft drivers. While my physical limitations would make that difficult, with the self-driving car, I could just send it out to make money for me. That's actually the idea behind Tesla's robotaxi service. Right now, it's in very limited areas and just using cars owned by Tesla, but they're the exact same cars that come off the line and are bought by millions of others. So yes, the idea is that Tesla owners would be able to add their cars to the fleet. Once FSD is unsupervised everywhere, then you now have an entire continent that can be served by Tesla owners. And if you're like me and live out in the boonies, an area that isn't served at all by mass transit or traditional taxi services, and as a result we pay a bit more for Uber and Lyft, there would be more of a profit motive to have a Tesla that goes out and makes money for me. You mentioned very real problems though. Nasty people who spill food or drink, dirty people who get their gunk and smells all over your seats, drunk people who throw up, vandals who hate Elon, and the system is going to have some way of dealing with them. One thing Tesla is going to need is a reputation system, where such riders are blocked from the service after the bad behavior. You can also use background checks to catch problem riders ahead of time. The cabin cameras can do real-time monitoring and flag the rider, perhaps even providing the information to police if what they're doing is a criminal act such as vandalism. The AI itself could also participate, even without any of the issues we've discussed. What if someone has a sudden medical issue? The AI could detect it and immediately reroute to the nearest emergency room. If the rider is being a problem, the AI could pull over and make them get out, refusing to service them further. There may also be high crime areas that are geo-flagged ahead of time, denying service within that area. A system of insurance and deposits can compensate drivers, with the insurance or the rider being charged for the damage. Tesla could also compensate the driver out of their portion of the revenues. If the car is leased from Tesla, they could, in a worst-case scenario, simply lease you another car under the same terms. You could even give riders a financial incentive, rewarding good behavior with discounts and other perks. So this would be taken care of with a combination of legal, regulatory, insurance, and company rules and procedures for preventing these issues and compensating drivers when it happens. It's a brand new thing though, so like all new things, the system is going to have to evolve to allow for detection and billing of damage, cleaning and repairs, and even legal processes. Tesla, more than any other car company, is in the best position to be able to provide all of that. Not just because of their FSD innovations, but because of other innovations that put them in a perfect position to innovate all of this. Well, that's it for another month, so thank you so very much for watching. Comments for the comment god, shares for the share throne. Please hit like, subscribe, and the bell, and check out other videos on my channel, and like and share them as well. And since I've had to trash my savings account even more to get a new computer, and they've gotten really expensive these days, more than ever, please go to donate.pagosity.tv for all sorts of ways to support, including PayPal, Venmo, cryptocurrency, or become a regular supporter at Patreon, Subscribestar, or Discord to get these videos early and ad-free and participate in live streams and AMAs like this one. Thanks again, and until next time, stay strong and be free.